You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, gays, gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter. Hope you're having a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're checking this out. Happy holidays to y'all. This is the official first review in the Real Holiday series this year. I'm going to go through another couple of the reviews that will be coming out. You know, hell, I'll just mention them now. So, I'll be reviewing, obviously, Silent Night right now, but I'll also be reviewing Die Hard. I'll be reviewing Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I will be reviewing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and I'll be reviewing, I think I mentioned it, but I'll be reviewing Die Hard as well as the new Eddie Murphy movie Candy Cane Lane. So that's just a couple of reviews I'll be doing. I'm at least going to do 12 days of holiday reviews. I'm definitely not doing one for each day like I did in October. That was madness, never again. But I might go ahead and add on a holiday review for like a TV show or something like that. I think there's like a Married with Children Christmas episode I really want to review, so I might review that. I think I've already reviewed the Tick episode. I have, yeah. But hell, I might just re-review that because I want to. But yeah, so gonna have some fun stuff coming down the pipeline for y'all for the holiday season. So yeah, got stuff coming down the pipeline. But anyway, this Silent Night is of course directed by John Woo. He's a bit talented. He's done a little movie called Hard Boiled, a little film called Mission Impossible 2, a little film called Face Off. I love all three of those movies, by the way. But yeah, John Woo is a fucking legend, has been a legend for decades. This stars Joel Kinnaman, who you know as Rick Flag from the Suicide Squad films, his RoboCop remake, which I actually think is it's not great, but I think there's more there than people give it credit for. He's also on the TV show For All Mankind, which is on Apple TV Plus. And then I just recently reviewed his performance in Sympathy for the Devil alongside Nicolas Cage. That's a fun movie for the real spooky or the real scary series. Pardon me. So yeah, big fan of Kinnaman. Big fan of Kid Cudi, who's also in this. Kid Cudi, one of the best rappers really in the world. The man is fucking brilliant. But between that and How to Make It in America and Crater, Kid Cudi's been in some bangers, actually. He has a great guest spot on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you haven't seen that. And, he's in this little movie called X, too. But, yeah, huge Kid Cudi fan. And that's kind of where I want to start, is I hear Kid Cudi's co-star in this. I went, oh, hell yeah. I can't wait to see Kid Cudi with a gun. Like, let's go. And do I get that? I mean, kind of. But at the same time, this is a movie that I think starts off very intense. It starts off with this really cool car chase throughout this neighborhood, and in Joel Kinnaman's character getting shot in the throat, and he loses the ability to speak, which is why, of course, it's called Silent Night. And so that whole sequence I thought was fantastic. I was like, oh hell yeah, I am ready. I am ready for this movie. And to be honest, from that moment on, the movie just kind of falls down for me. I wasn't mad, but I was just kind of disappointed in this overall, which sucks because I was so hyped for this. And I think part of it too, and I'm not trying to give the movie an out, but when I think about something like Violent Night, which came out last year, which was such a cool fucking surprise. It caught so many people off guard. I love that goddamn movie, but it was such a pleasant surprise. You're like, wow, this movie works so fucking well. I was really expecting maybe more something in that vein. And there is some cool action stuff here. I won't say that the movie is a total waste, but I definitely was kind of sitting there like, oh man, this could actually use some more creativity on the some more brutality on the action front. A lot of this movie too, and even with John Wick, I think one of the trappings that the first John Wick especially avoids is that while we don't know a ton about the relationship between him and his wife, the little bits we do get of Keanu being able to be by himself and reflecting, and John reflecting on her, I think that helps a lot. And obviously, the dog being physical representation of that goes ahead and does do a lot of the legwork. But then the way that people talk about the fact that, oh, you moved on, you were out of this life. I think that combination of things does a lot of heavy lifting, where you don't have to sit down and have all these flashbacks with them. For what they do here, and the reason why Brian is so pissed off, actually they show it in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. So son gets killed by these gangsters, and it's pretty brutal. Like, that is one thing I will say. Like, it's not quite Max Payne level, but it's still pretty brutal in a way that I went, wow, okay. And I do think that Kinnaman does a good job selling the angst and the anguish, especially in his facial expressions. Even though he can't, sound wise really emote, I think he does a good job just selling it through his body movement. But his wife in here, Saya, played by Catalina Sedino Moreno. That's a cool last name. There's so little, like, there's no conversations between them outside of texting. And I think that's a time where you really need to have the flashbacks where, yes, I know it's called Silent Night, but having them, even all at a park or at a, I don't know, a baseball game or whatever. But I think we need to have a good understanding that their marriage was solid before this event happened, before we tear it apart. It's kind of the same problem I have with Brightburn, where, when the kid snaps and he starts terrorizing town. Is it cool from a visual standpoint? Sure, but we don't see him as a normal, not, terrifying kid before he makes the turn. We need to know the character more before I can accept that turn, and I just didn't get enough backstory here for me to actually invest in it. Even Violent Night, he talks about Mrs. Claus a lot and how, he's tired, kind of tired of being Santa and people losing faith. Like, they do a good job of making Santa, I can't believe I'm saying this, they do a great job of making Santa feel like a pretty fleshed out character. So, you care when he's in peril and what he's trying to do. Here with Brian, I wanted to care, and the movie wouldn't allow me to care more, and that sucks because I really did want to care more. This is written by Robert Archer Lynn, who has only 2 other writing credits to his name. This movie called Adrenaline back in 2007. This movie called Prisoner back in 2007. Starred Joey McMahon. I've actually never heard of this movie. And then this movie called Silent Revenge, or I think that's another name for Silent Night, so never mind. So only has a couple writing credits to his name, and yeah, I think that there is one hand-to-hand fight that takes place in his house that I thought was, pretty well done. But even the gunplay stuff, I wasn't crazy about it. Even as the movie kind of goes on, he starts dressing more and more like the Punisher, which is pretty funny. But another thing about this movie, I think, is you look at John Wick. You look at all 4 John Wick movies. The action scenes are incredible in that. Even just the standard gunplay, and that's a pattern they repeat throughout all 4 films. We have 2 great extraction movies starring Chris Hemsworth on Netflix. The action genre, it's really stepped up in terms of action scenes. And while I mentioned the opening chase I thought was well done, and there's the aforementioned hand-to-hand fight scene in the laundry room, for the most part, the gunplay is just kind of eh. I think the driving stuff most of the time is pretty cool, but the gunplay I was shockingly underwhelmed by, to be honest, which really did surprise me given the fact that John Woo directing this. Um, I don't have a ton to say about this movie because I don't think there's 100 words of dialogue in here. It is very much Silent Night. You could really put on a actually, I wouldn't even say that. No, I'm gonna walk that back. But I mentioned Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi, he's nothing in this. He gets more time. He gets more character development in fucking Crater, that Disney Plus movie he did than he does here. He's just a generic cop that wants to take down the gangsters. That's all he is. He really doesn't even get like an action scene to shine or even show that he's a competent detective. There's a point where Brian literally drops one of the guys off on his doorstep. So, like he wasn't even able to really do his fucking job. It's really quite frustrating because again, you get someone like Kid Cudi. This doesn't have to be a throwaway role. Like it could be a little more than that. I'm not trying to say that he has to be super developed, but we just don't know anything about him outside of the fact that he's a cop, really. So I was pretty frustrated by the lack of use of Kid Cudi because again, I don't think you get him just to kind of be in a throwaway role. So I don't know, y'all. I was really sitting here thinking about it because after I watched it the first time, I felt a certain way, and then after I rewatched it here this past weekend, I was like, oh no, I was right. This is a huge missed opportunity. It's wasted potential. Like I said, there is some action stuff that does work, but again, as I also mentioned, you can stream you can stream two great Extraction movies. You can watch the John Wick movies. Like there's like honestly, I had more fun with Gunpowder Milkshake than I had with this because at least I felt like I got to know the women and their sense of ethics and felt their camaraderie. I don't know, y'all. This felt. I wanted more from this, and I was disappointed with what I got. Some of the stuff I got, I liked, but most of it, I was just very disappointed by. That's what I was going to bring up. The score. The score is done by Marco Beltrami, who's done scores for the last couple Scream films, Love and Monsters, Underwater, World War Z. Yeah, the motherfucker knows how to score music. Like, he's created some incredible fucking scores. And the score, I think, is great here. But yeah, it's wild just how this movie really does feel like it drops the ball at multiple points. But I don't know. It's frustrating. And I wanted more from this, but I don't know what to tell you. So gosh, where do I want to go with this? I'm gonna go C- on this because I think if you caught it at home, streamed it, you'd be like, oh, okay, I was holiday movie. It's also like an hour 43, so it's not 2 hours, which is good. But even of what this is, they probably could have cut 10 minutes. So, but one thing I am giving this movie a ton of credit for is that they actually show that Brian is training. Like, he's just not Jason Bourne, but this motherfucker trains over like an 8-month period to basically get these guys. I was like, okay, I actually appreciate that. So credit where it's due there. They actually make it realistic from that standpoint. But yeah, I was disappointed. But yeah, what are you gonna do? But Silent Night. Have y'all seen it? What'd you think of it? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And rate the podcast. It definitely helps us out. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcast, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. Got a question for the show? Got a review request? Just want to say hi? Shoot me an email. You can shoot me an email at jhunter@therealpineapple.com. That's REEL Pineapple. Follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. Follow me on TikTok at jhunterrealpineapple. And follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. I am going to be hopping on Twitch finally this month. Go ahead and subscribe now so you'll know when I'm going live. You can find me on twitch.tv/jhunterrealpineapple. And follow me on YouTube. Follow the show on YouTube. All of our backlog is slowly being uploaded there, so we're going to have a lot of... everything will be over there as well. And then I'm going to start probably doing like little short videos. I'm gonna be heading back to the theater here soon, so my out of the theater reactions, I'm gonna post those as well to YouTube. So yeah, gonna have a lot of stuff hitting the YouTube channel. And then you can find all of our socials at linktr.ee/jhunterrealpineapple. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. As I mentioned, we'll have more reviews coming up in the Real Holiday series, including reviews for Die Hard, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and more. So yeah, I'm excited to bring those reviews to y'all. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, take care of each other, get your COVID shot or booster, and get your flu shot. We're in winter, y'all. I want y'all to be safe.